This is the stool that I'm making for my trailer. This is an original photograph, and this will be the only one that I know that exists. Here you go. Let's start. I'm trying to see if I can get 14 inches out of this. I should. Let's see. Yep, 14's right there. I'm gonna mark 14 inches right there. 14 inches right there. Right there. Now I need to make a line. Try to line it up with your little marks. Try to get it as straight as possible. And then draw your line. So that right there on this side is 14 inches. And that's what I need to make the top of the footstool. And your eye protection and your ear protection. And this around. Try to line up that line with your saw blade. And look where the saw blade tooth, see where the teeth are hitting, but make sure they line up on the other side of your line, because that's where you're going to be cutting. And make sure you don't touch anything when it's plugged in. Make sure it's lined up. Make sure it's lined up all the way down. That's where you're going to be cutting. Now, I wouldn't recommend you putting your hand on this surface. I don't have any kind of special clamps. These clamps work okay, but they can still move on you. But I'm lined up and I'm ready to cut. Stop completely and then let up. And then you're cut. You're ready. Now that I got my piece cut, let's see if it'll work. I'll place it on the ground. And this is where you're going to be stepping. Seems like it'll work fine. On to the next step. It's always a good idea to label anything that you're working on that has a lot of pieces, to label what they're going to be. So this is going to be labeled as top. Any hardware store, local hardware store. Now I purchased this at, and this is what I'm going to be making. Any hardware store, local hardware store. This is mahogany. And this is what I'm going to be making. Any random length, the stool out of. I use the saws that they have in the store. You can buy these at any random length. But the saws I use the saws that they have in the store to cut the wood. You're gonna get. So but the saws are not the best. Extra room, and that's most likely the result that you're gonna get. So always leave yourself extra room. Mistakes. For it's always best to think about that. To also have mistakes. You're not gonna get. It's always best to You're think about that also,
like this
because you're not going to get
a perfect cut like that. You're not most likely going to get a cut like this because the saws are just not the best.
When I measured this board out, I left myself at least 2 inches extra because I'm thinking it's going to be for each 4 pieces that I'm going to make out of this one board are going to be about roughly 16 inches. But to double check that, I'm going to have to rethink and strategize and make sure that I'm going to have to make a template to see if that size will still work for what I need. Now I collected a few things, a pencil, ruler, and other tools. Now let's get started on making that template. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get your tape measure. You're going to want to measure out 16 inches, which is what I was hoping to get, which is right. Let's do it to that line, the creases. 16, 16, go up here, 16, 16. Get your straight edge going, make a nice straight line. See that? Much larger. And you're going to want to determine the height. Now the height of the board that I purchased is right here. They say it's 8 inches, but the store doesn't have it at 8 inches. It's at 7 1/4. So I need to come back here. This line right here isn't straight. So what I need to do is I need to make a straight line on this side. You can see that. So I have enough room to go a little bit, so we don't need to go that tall. So let's just go right there. And we'll go off of this rib right here. So that's 8 inches right there. Make sure that this is 8 inches off of that rib. Right around there. Let's draw our line. This is our other line. Now we'll do our measurement. It's 7 1/4, which is right there. And I'll go right here, 7 1/4. That. And now we'll have, all right, it's lined up, 7 1/4. Now we have a perfectly
rectangle piece that replicates our wood so that we don't ruin our wood. You can always make more cardboard templates. Cannot just keep purchasing that mahogany because that's very expensive. Now we will cut. Get a nice, clean, brand new razor blade. And be careful, very sharp. So you line up with your line. Make sure this is straight. Make sure the blade goes with your where you're cutting. Keep it steady. Go through it a few times. And see, cut right through. Great camera work. All right. On to the next one. Let's get you situated here. All right. Cut this one. And line up with this line. Your hands are out of the way. All the way down. All the way down. Check it. Looks like a good cut to me. Line up. Cut your line. Cut your line. Check it. Looks like a good cut. Okay, next line. Cut. Cut. That should be it. See? Nice, clean lines. Got a perfect template. And you can find cardboard like this behind any store or somebody's trash where they're recycling it. You can pretty much find cardboard anywhere. Or you can go to the store and buy cardboard, but this is a much cheaper way to do it because cardboard on the street is free. Anybody can do that. Next, grab your wood and your cardboard piece that you made. Let's make sure that this is correct. Should be 16 inches. Looks right to me. Okay, 16, and this is supposed to be 14. Looks right to me. Now, I need to know what's going to work. These sides need to be at an angle very slightly underneath. I wonder what would happen if I took away an inch on either side. Would that give me 14? Let's try it. So I did an inch here. Right on there. An inch here. Let's see what we get in the middle. Pretty much 14. So that's if I'm in line with the board. Now I'm gonna make sure
That's what I want. Okay, after checking my photo, I actually want to go another inch, because that angle part which we're doing, the top half, it's kind of like a triangle. Not a very good sample, but we want it to be more inward. Not too much inward like a triangle like this, but you know, we want a rectangled shape on the ends. The bottom, like picture is triangle, but the bottom end of the triangle. That's what we're trying to make, so that it has a shape. So let's go in another inch. So it's basically 2 inches coming in. And we want to go to the edge of the board. So right there. 2 inches. Just lined up. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. That would be a foot on the top. When I put this board up, make sure that that's what I'm looking for. That looks right to me. Yes. I'm going to say yes. And then the bottom end needs to fan out. So it helps support this top portion. So all the weight is being compressed and it has a good footing, you know. So now what I need to do is go off of that mark, go to this end, and go to that end from the mark, and then make my line. That is the shape that I'm going for. So go from that corner to your mark, right there to right there. Draw your line. Make sure it's right. There you go. Now, let's get a visual first. Pull the board up. That looks like the right shape to me. That's what I'm going for. You can see that. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. That looks like the shape I'm going for. Okay. Well, let's cut it out with the straight edge. We get our knife, which right here. Get it up to our line. Cut. Cut. Comes right off. Cut. Cut. And there you go. Now, see how this side's long and this side's short? We need to make a short side too. There's going to be a short side, just like our template. See, this is too big. This won't work. That's too big. It needs to be in, just like this piece. So it's in.
I need to make a short side too. Let's do that. Get your cardboard. Let's see how. So 11 1/4, not even 12. 11 1/4. Gotta find a side of cardboard that you think would work. Looks like that side will work. Make sure the height is good. Looks like the height's good. Going off of that line and that crease once again. I'm just going to make a line, and we'll measure it also to make sure it's correct. It's a little off. Yep, a little off. So then we draw our line. 7 1/4. That's what we measured. Get our straight edge up to those dot lines. Get them as close as you can. Very long. That's how far off we were. It's always good to measure. So what did we say? We said it was 11 1/4. So let's go with 11 1/4. That's our top board. That's our side top board length. 11 1/4 right there. Okay. I'm going to cut this out. Twice. Let's cut that line in the back. Going from there on the top one. There. There. See? There's our other template. Get our board. This is this side. And then we gotta do this other side. And it's kinda, we want it to kinda come in a little bit. We want it to come in on itself a little bit. And then it's gonna help support this board. Let's make sure the size is good. Can't see that. Yeah. That looks good. Okay. And then what did we do? What did we do? We did 2 inches in. So that means we need to do 2 inches on the top also. turn around right here. It's better side. So you need to draw 2 inches. Inches. Two inches. That. And then from there, we go to our corners. Our mark there. Oops. There we go. There's our marks. Okay, sorry, I think it's the lines on the board. Then we take our razor blade. Against our marks. Didn't quite cut through. Let's try this again. There it goes. And go right here. Cut and cut through all the way. Just go through. I think the blade's starting to dull out. There it goes. Okay. There's our piece. So it kind of looks like the bottom end of a triangle. That's our side pieces. So you can see now at the base, kind of like a pyramid, like the bottom end of a pyramid. If you were to kind of cut the top part off that comes to a point, it's like the bottom end. And that's the shape that we're looking for. That's what it looks like if it was laying down. It just gives it a different look and more support and strength. So that means this part will go right here and rest on the top. If you're still not sure if it will work or not, it's always good to just make more templates of the ones they've already created. Instead of just creating 2 sides, just create 2 more sides, and then you can put it together and make sure that it will work. Before you do the final cuts on the mahogany, which are very expensive, it's always good to see if it will work or not. Sometimes you just gotta wing it, and you just have to cut it and cut up whatever you have and just see if it'll work. One of the things that I didn't consider is that the fact that the board is pretty thick. You put these 2 boards together, that's 1.5 inches. It's kind of slippery. Roughly about 1.5 inches. Rough. So when I take my cardboard pieces, and I'm going to put them together side by side, that's what I'm working with. So what I was going to do is I was planning on putting them like this. But if I do that, remember this side is, let's measure that. Three-fourths. And this is
like a 1/16. That's a big difference. So we need to take in consideration of what am I going to do for the edges. Am I going to have to cut an angle into them to put them together? Am I going to take away more of an angle so that when I put them together, it doesn't affect the top? Something I got to think about. Just to show you an example. So if I were to put the boards together, that long side and that short side, this is what I would have to do. Now this would work. This could work. The problem is the trim that I purchased, that's not really gonna work. I'll show you. This is the trim I purchased. It's aluminum. You can get it at any big box store. To the angle. No, they have bigger sizes of this, which I could have gotten, and if I would have thought about that, but not gonna work for this, because when I put this trim right here, it doesn't cover up that other section. Now what does work, which requires a little bit more precision, is I would have to cut the sides like this, so that when I put the sides together versus this, it's now like this, which is stronger. It's stronger, it can be stronger. And see how the sides come together? So when I put this trim on, trim will help hold it also and give it strength. And I will also have a piece of wood right here. I think I'm just going to cut these pieces to 16 inches. And then, other than the sides, those might be different. Okay, I was wrong. It's not 16 inches. It's 15 3/4. So the first one, this cut is probably not straight. Let me cut that first. There. Let's try this here. Okay, so this one is
15 and 3/4. Line.
Moving.
As you can see, if I were to make each one of them 16 inches, there probably would have been a smaller board. But since the sides on the side where it's 11, it's a lot shorter. So this is what I'm left with. But this is good. Now, as you can see, I have my template there for the large ones, my template there for the small ones. Now all I need to do is I need to draw a line from the corner from here all the way to the top end. But remember, I need to come in 2 inches. 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches. Only on one side. Inches. This one. Okay. Do these. Go from that to that. One. corner. Mark. It's right in the corner. Oh, there we go. Let's put a little tip. There. There. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to be a little bit sad. Should work. It's going to work. Because I'm just winging it to see if it'll work. Should work though. So for these angled parts, I set the saw at, looks like 15, and that is where my line is. You can move this end of the saw around, but that seems to be right on the money for where my line is. So now all I need to do is cut them all.
as you can see here, that is the shape that we're left with when you put them all together. And that's a rough look at what we're making. That actually looks okay to me. Kind of okay with that. Well, it looks like to me that I kind of like that look. I like the way it's shaped. I like how the platform sticks out. So I'm gonna have to get some different trim because I really like this shape. I don't really want to mess with it. I don't want to try to do those angles. This will be plenty strong, especially with the inner supports that I repurposed from a buffet, an antique 1930s buffet that was from a consignment store that I bought. And I took down the legs because I wanted it to turn it into a TV entertainment system. So I'm going to reuse those to help support this inner structure right here. And I think that will be enough to, that should be enough. That's like overkill on strength. So, yep. On to the next one. Okay, so now, as you can see, I have my pieces. Brought over some clamps that I have that usually work pretty well. Found them at a estate sale, only for a couple bucks. I got my drill here. I have my drill bits over here. Hammer. I got some nails. So I'm gonna have to pre-drill for my nails. And then I'm going to use those salvage pieces that are right there from that buffet. And those are going to help support the inner parts. And I'm going to glue all of this together and nail it together. And then when it dries, it should all be very strong. I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use epoxy for the whole thing. You can use wood glue. That'll work fine too. I just like to use epoxy because it seems to be really strong and waterproof. The other glue is waterproof too, but I think epoxy is more permanent than wood glue is. Wood glue, you can kind of tear it apart. It will take out chunks if it isn't strong or how well you prep the wood for gluing. Let's get started. I'm gonna go with that one. Let's try one of these. See if they work. I don't know if it works or not. Not so sure with the angle, but I'll try it out. Yeah, no, it's not gonna work. Different angle. closer. I'm just trying to line it up with the bottom to the top, close as I can. It's just to get an idea of where I should drill. And drill there. Three holes. I'm thinking I'm going to maybe change the drill because I think that hole is too big. Yeah, it is. But I didn't go all the way through. I just wanted to see how it is. So I'm gonna need to get a smaller bit. That's a much better fit. 564. These nails. See, it's just a much better fit. So that'll be that side. Probably should start holes. See what side I want. Start that side, show. So, this up to here. Hold it in place best that we can. The nails are mostly just to hold it in place, so that when I glue it, it doesn't shift on me, and it holds it. And it's always good to mark which side goes to what. So I'm gonna put, let's see here, I'm gonna put a line here and a line there, and that'll tell me. You can always sand that off. You can put a star or whatever. You can put a heart, whichever works. So now let's do that side. So this side goes to this side, and we have to do this side. So we pick out which side we want. A little bit of ding and dents there, but I can always sand that out. Okay, so we line this one up as close as we can get it. Could make the mark now. So I'll do a line there and a line there, making an X. Do you know where it goes? At least 2 holes would be good. At least lining it up. And I could do a third without it being up there. Go through it. Okay, so now we know the X goes to X. Up. So this one technically is already done. So now I need to go to the next board. Decide which side I want. I don't want that side. It has a ding in it, but
that's okay because we're gonna sand it too. This is just the first step to what we're trying to achieve here. So gonna get it lined up. Make your mark. And do squiggly lines, 2 lines, squiggly lines. So, drill 1 there. Drill 1 there. Drill a hole down here. Okay. That looks good. And then you do, here's your line from your other one, so it's that side. It's the side you didn't do yet. A little bit off on the top. Okay, that might be a little close to the edge though. Let's try to do that one again. And I'm still going to put a trim here. I'm just going to have to make it thicker. Let's go up here and make a new hole. Okay, that looks better. Not so close to the edge. And then we do a third. Okay, and there you go. Now you're prepped for doing nails to hold the glue together, because it's going to be a lot once you put the glue down, because the glue will dry fast since it is epoxy, unlike wood glue. Wood glue does dry depending on how warm it is, but today it's California weather and it's very cold and wet and kind of humid. Now whenever you're working with epoxy, you have to mix it right. And you have to, once you measure them correctly, like they sell pumps that will measure it for you, and that is a whole lot better. And you'll most likely get it right every time. And once you pump them into a bucket, like I get these, you got to make sure you stir it. You got to make sure you stir it really good. And depending on the weather, if it's hot, the epoxy will dry really quick. They do sell slow drying epoxy, like a slow cure, I think that's what they're called. I kind of like the fast because most of the time you're going to not want to hold your piece for very long and you want it to dry quickly. And sometimes the drying fast ones are actually better because they heat up really hot and they seem to turn rock hard fast. But like weather like today, depends. It might dry fast, it might not dry fast, but within a half an hour, this should dry. I might leave it overnight and see, and it should be dry. It should be dry, no problem. I'm mixing it very well. Now, when I'm mixing this, it is creating bubbles. I don't care about the bubbles, I just care about the mixture. So if you're going for a clear glass epoxy top, this is not the epoxy I would use. I would use something else. But we're just gluing up this mahogany, and I want it to be strong. So yeah, move on to the next step, is gluing with this epoxy. All right, it's time to glue. This glue's already starting to set up. Put your epoxy on like this. Now, pores will always soak up more because they're open. It's always good to put enough on there okay. That line goes with that line. Let's and put cardboard down because this epoxy stuff is very messy, and if you get it on your concrete, you can chip it off, but if you don't want anything on your concrete, I would recommend putting cardboard. You get epoxy on both sides. Get your nails ready. But if this doesn't dry on me. Okay, there's one. There's two. Guess that's it. Just trying to get it on there. Okay, move on to the next one because this glue's already starting to set up. Waste it. Gotta go fast, but because we don't want it to dry. It shouldn't dry because, like I said, it's not hot outside, but going to, oops. Try our best. On the sides. Right. Get our nails set. Our holes. I'm hoping that you're able to see this. I can only do what I can. It's sticking out. Okay. Try to line those up. I don't think I did a hole for that one. So just and the 2 lines, remember? So not to make a mess here. Best we can. That's the side that I don't want. I think it is. This is the side I don't want. I don't know what I'm doing exactly. I don't know if I'm going to stain this or paint it, but epoxy is or not epoxy, yeah. Mahogany is a good wood for exterior. So this one I'm going to have to do glue both sides because I'm inserting this piece in. I have enough glue on here because it's not. Another little glue on this side. Okay, 2 let's get nails. Nail set. And then we should have holes where these go. If I can find them. Okay, I think that's for those. Should I hammer those in? Okay. On this side, can't seem to find the holes for this side. Should be around there. That's unfortunate. Should be. Okay, well, looks like I'm just gonna try to hammer it. Okay. So a little these blocks will help. I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Oh, my epoxy fell over. I'm going to have to roll with it. That's going to go with that. I'm going to feel it starting to harden. So. One. Very messy. Epoxy is just messy. It's very messy. Glue. Yeah, it's already started hardening. It's getting more tacky. Hopefully I can get this glued up in time. I need to clamp that. These clamps work. Push it down on that side.
sure we are getting good contact. Too far. A little more glue or whatever's on. Okay. And then we still have glue over here. Epoxy's already drying. Doesn't even move. Nice to use that on the top, so I'm gonna put some on the top here. Make sure that seam is good. Alright, and get some more clamps at that end. Maybe. Alright. Well, I guess we'll see, guys. We will see. This is overkill on glue, but that's right. So I want it to be very strong. That's my plan. I want it to be very strong. It's going to be supporting, stepping in and out of that trailer.
Well, I would say we're all clamped up. Is it overkill? Yes. Was this the right way? Probably not. But this is the kind of stuff that I build. I just kind of go for it. I see a vision. I see something that I want to build. I see something that I want to make. And I just go for it. I just try to make it. If it fails, then you learn from it. But there's always ways to fix something. There's always a way to fix it. And this is a stool. This isn't some precision thing. Nothing here that's been mathematical or engineered or anything like that. It's just, I laid it out, knew what I wanted to build, saw a photo, and said, I want to build that. And here it is. I mean, this is the process that I do every time that I want to build something. Hang in there to see next time on videos for my channel. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. Thanks for watching this video.